Thank you, Mr. President. The COVID pandemic has exposed systemic gaps in health, social protection and education systems right across the globe. It has exposed the vulnerabilities and the inequalities of individuals, societies and economies. And at the same time, it has put hard-won development gains at risk, with the first reversal in human development in nearly 30 years. The pandemic has reinforced Ireland's long-held belief that multilateral responses to global challenges are essential. Continued international cooperation, strong policy coordination and global problem solving will be necessary as we build a transformative, inclusive and resilient recovery and get back on track towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. As we look forward, it's essential that we draw new lessons learned from the pandemic and renew our commitment to the SDGs. The framework provided by these goals will ensure sustainable, inclusive recovery and an equitable future for all people, especially the most vulnerable. Our objective is to build back better, to align our economy for the digitalised and green future by creating more productive and sustainable jobs, and to make overarching structural changes that will break the link between fossil fuels and economic progress. At national level, the Irish Government has prioritised the development of the Climate Action and Low Carbon Amendment Development Bill, which provides legally binding commitments to cut emissions in half by 2030 and to go net zero by 2050. Ireland is also moving into a new phase in relation to our implementation of Agenda 2030. We will be shortly launching a multi-strand public and stakeholder consultation to inform the development of our second national implementation plan. Building on our experience of the first plan, a fundamental objective in developing the second plan is to further integrate the voices of stakeholders. We are also prioritising the rebuilding and relaunching of our National SDG Stakeholder Forum and the expansion of our SDG Champions programme. Both were restricted due to the pandemic and both important initiatives in facilitating meaningful engagement and determining how the goals can be achieved by and for everyone in society. Tackling climate change and inequality and supporting sustainable development are also central dimensions of Ireland's foreign policy. In Africa, where the effects of climate change are being deeply felt, our partnerships encompass areas such as ending hunger and strengthening gender equality. In partnership with the Asian Development Bank, we are supporting small island developing states in the Pacific as they build capacity to respond to the twin challenges of climate change and disaster preparedness. As an elected member of the UN Security Council, Ireland is actively engaged across the Council's agenda. This includes efforts to promote understanding of the linkages between the effects of climate change and peace and security, including as co-chair of the Council's informal expert group on climate and security. Ireland's development programme, A Better World, sets out our development priorities to 2030. That timeframe is linked to the target for the achievement of the SDGs, and our focus is not just on leaving no one behind, but engaging with the furthest behind first. The global challenges posed by COVID-19 and climate change are imposing a huge burden on poorer countries. We have to encourage the multilateral system to work more effectively and coherently along the continuum of humanitarian development and peace interventions. Ireland firmly believes that universal and equitable access to safe, effective and affordable diagnostics, treatments and vaccines is crucial in the global fight against COVID-19. We are convinced of the ethical obligation to share surplus vaccines with vulnerable populations in other countries. Now is the time for reflection on the progress Ireland has made to date, but also to identify where we can do better and what we can learn from others. We welcome the opportunity to hear of the experiences and approaches taken by our fellow member states at next year's HLPF. There is an opportunity now to reset, to build forward better, and to place resilience and sustainability at the centre of everything we do. Ireland stands ready to work with all member states and partners to build a prosperous future driven by sustainable and inclusive growth, which leaves no one behind. Thank you.